Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Barefoot Lawyer Reports podcast. My name is Will Deathridge. I'm the producer, and joining me as always is Chen Guangcheng.
Hello, my friends. I'm so happy to see you here again. So today we will talk the special news that happened 1 day ago.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, the Chinese Communist Party's Congress is going on right now in China. We've actually covered the effects that this has had on human rights activists who've been abused and censored and silenced in the wake of this Congress, in preparation for this Congress. So right now, even in other countries, there has been some abusive behavior against protesters and activists, including in Britain. Guangcheng, can you tell us what happened recently and why it's so significant?
Yes, and 1 day ago, October 16th, the Hong Kong people and the activists, they have a plan to protest in British Manchester.
In Manchester, yeah.
Yeah, in Manchester. And they protest there, and later the Communist Party's officials come out from the consulate and destroy the banner and the banners.
Yeah, banners and posters.
Yeah, they destroyed and tear down them, and even the officials took a activist, the protester, into the consulate, and 4 or 5 of the Communist Party officials beat him and kicked him and hurt his body. The British police, later the British police come in the consulate and took the person out, used that way to save him. And later, they called like 911, took the person in the hospital to check. The officials hurt his body, his face, his head, and his arms. So now the British government just see, now we ask the police to check out what's happened like that. And yesterday in Beijing, when the State Department have the meeting, every week the journalists will come to State Department to ask them some questions. The journalists ask them, why the officials in consulate in Manchester put the person inside and beat them. They said, I don't know that happened, and like that. The leader, the State Department said, just because they protest, they are so annoying, and the British police should do more work to protect our officials, our organization in the England, like blah, 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 like that. So you can see that is so horrible, right? The Communist Party send the violent in the Western country now.
Yeah,
they can do the surveillance and the force.
Yeah, violent use of force, yeah.
Yeah, it has force here in the Western country. So I think if the British embassy could kind of find a way to punish the officials in Manchester in consulate.
In the consulate, yeah. Well, it doesn't even look like this was just 1 or 2 rogue, people working in the embassy. They had, according to the Washington Post, they had full riot gear on, bulletproof vests and whatnot. So, they were ready to move on the protesters pretty quickly there. So it's a pretty scary situation when we don't just have to worry about violence against the Chinese protesters in China, but now outside of the embassies in Western democracies. It's just insane what's going on.
Yeah, the Communist Party's embassy is like a police station now in the Western country.
Yeah.
So we have to stop that. If the British government can't find a way to punish the officials, follow the international law or diplomacy policy, England should kick the officials out, send them back to mainland China.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can't find a way to punish the officials, that is very bad example. I think in the future, the Communist Party will do like this more in different countries, including the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, a few years ago, Guangcheng, if you could tell us a little bit about this, wasn't there an incident in Texas which caused one of their embassies to be closed by us?
Yeah. That is the Trump administration.
Yeah, in Houston, right?
Yeah, and Mike Pompeo know more about this detail. He talked about this in some speech, said the Communist Party's consulate did the wrong thing in the U.S. That is illegal. So they have to close that. Even they tried to use that, become the police center to do something in the U.S. to scare the people live here, to try to make the people come back to mainland China like that.
Yeah, there were allegations of spying and intimidation going on against various government agencies, Chinese human rights activists, and all that. So, moves like that, you think those are effective tactics, Guangcheng, things like closing down?
I think the Communist Party prepared to use that system, diplomacy system, to do the illegal in the whole world now.
Yeah.
At that time, I remember some organization in Texas gave me information said the consulate tried to kidnapped the people in that and put them in the big box and use the car to send them to California, then tried send them back to mainland China. So
who are they trying to send back, Guangcheng?
The Communist Party's official in Texas consulate.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they kidnapped the people and kidnapped them in consulate and tried to put them in the big box and use the car to send them to California, then put them on the plane to make them in mainland China.
Gotcha. So were they kidnapping Chinese citizens, or were they trying to kidnap American citizens? Could you clarify that?
Yeah, before that, people is the Chinese citizens. Yeah. But when they came here, they got the green card here.
Green card, got it.
Yeah, they are not become the U.S. citizens already, I think. If they already, the U.S. government should be stand up to stop them.
Right, yeah.
Even they have a green card, the U.S. still should save them, right?
Basically trying to force deport citizens working on a green card here back to China. No, it's some pretty awful allegations out there about what the Chinese Communist Party has been doing here in Western countries. I mean, Guangcheng, I mean, we've talked in past podcasts about this, but we've talked about the idea of a black jail, which is basically these illegal prisons that operate in China for the most part, where they'll take prisoners, human rights activists, or people deemed as enemies or threats to the state, and basically torture them and use inhumane imprisonment tactics against them. But those are starting to pop up in other parts of the world outside of China, right?
Yes. The Han Party, in fact, the Han Party set up already a lot of black jail in the Western country. Right. Even, this spring, they took the people who escaped from mainland China in East Europe and put them in the black jail. Later, someone escaped and exposed these.
Yes.
So yeah, you can see now the Communist Party try to use any system in the Western country to do the illegal thing to protect the regime.
Yeah.
So I think we should find a way to stop that. If the Communist Party continue to do that, we should punish them. We should stop have the diplomacy relations with the authoritarian regime.
Yeah. Well, like we mentioned before, the closure of the embassy in Houston was a huge blow to the Chinese Communist Party, given how powerful of an economic center Houston is. So, hoping to see more actions like that, right, Guangcheng? What can we do? What can listeners to this podcast do to encourage their officials to take actions like this?
Just because this happened 30 hours ago in England, I think now we should ask our Congress to make a law to stop that. Right. And to join hand with England to write a letter to ask the Communist Party to do anything about like this in the West country.
Yeah.
If they continue to do that, we should join hand to punish them.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to do that. If we ignore that, that will be happening more and more. So, yeah, and yes, not just England now. I think the Communist Party will do more. It looks like the Communist Party never says sorry about this. Even the Communist Party said, just because the protester Sunoi and they asked the England police to protect them more and more like that. That is not how to say. I think that is illegal, right?
Yeah, it is. So these consulates are supposed to be international soil, but they're not supposed to be dragging people into.
The Communist Party, if you can protect by yourself, you needn't the diplomacy policy to protect, right? If you can do that, I think, even in the U.S., I remember 3 weeks ago, they protest in the embassy, outside of the embassy of the Communist Party in Washington, D.C., and some officials come out to fight each other with the activists. So I think the Communist Party prepared to do that.
Right.
Not just happened recently. So they prepare already. So I think we should express very clear, if the Communist Party to do that again, we have to find a way to punish them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, we encourage all of you to keep up with news about the Chinese Communist Party's human rights abuses on our webpage at catholic.edu/CHR. That's catholic.edu/CHR. Thank you guys very much for joining us on another episode of the Barefoot Lawyer Reports.
Thank you, my friend. See you next time.